Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Journalist shares how long William Saliba has now been told he will be out for. Speaking on the National World YouTube channel, Chris Wheatley has been discussing William Saliba's injury and how long the French defender will be out for. Saliba came off injured against Sporting a couple of weeks ago and he was holding his back as he came off the pitch. However, according to Whitley, his injury is a hamstring problem, and the initial prognosis for the defender isn't too worrying. Indeed, according to Whitley, the initial prognosis for Saliba's injury is that he will be out of action for just a fortnight, potentially less. Whitley shared what he knows about Saliba. He said, he has what we understand to be a hamstring injury. He is not appearing for France while he recovers from that. Expect him to be out for a couple of weeks. He could be back sooner than that, but the initial prognosis is a couple of weeks. Arsenal have options, but Saliba at the moment is expected to be out for a couple of weeks or less. This is a huge for Arsenal and their hunt for the Premier League title. It's not outrageous to say that Saliba has been their most influential defensive player this season, and having him back within the next 2 weeks will be massive for the Gunners. Sadly, it sounds as though he could miss a decisive game against Liverpool on April 9, but more importantly, he could be back for the crunch clash against Manchester City at the end of next month. Saliba's injury looked nasty initially, but it sounds like he could be back and better than ever before too long. Fingers crossed, the 21-year-old can stay fit between now and the end of the season. Fabrizio Romano shares exciting Bukayo Saka update for Arsenal fans. Fabrizio Romano has now shared an update to Arsenal fans about Bukayo Saka and his contract situation this morning. The 21-year-old Englishman will enter the final year of his deal this summer. He is one of the best players in England and perhaps the world at the moment, and Arsenal fans absolutely love him. Letting a player enter the final year of his contract is never ideal, especially someone as good as Saka, but thankfully for Arsenal fans, they have nothing to worry about. Arsenal have been in talks with Saka's agents to extend his deal for months now. The Englishman's contract was originally set to expire at the end of the season, but Arsenal used their option to extend that by another year. That has given them time to agree a deal with him, and Romano has revealed now that it's only a matter of time before Saka puts pen to paper. He is going to do it very soon. The journalist further revealed that three different clubs, two from England and one overseas, were all looking at Saka's contract situation, hoping that they will get an opening to jump in and lure him away. However, they never stood a chance, as Saka always only wanted Arsenal, and he is now set to extend his stay at the club. Romano tweeted, Arsenal star Bukayo Saka will sign his new contract very soon. No changes in the plan, as verbal agreement is in place since February. Three clubs, two from England and one from abroad, were monitoring Saka's contract situation since long time, but no way he is staying. Extending Saka's contract would be huge for Arsenal. The Englishman has been absolutely amazing this season. He has scored 13 goals and provided 10 assists in all competitions so far, and he is one of the biggest reasons why the Gunners are on top of the Premier League table. Now, as Arsenal charge towards the Premier League title in the final 2 months of the campaign, he will be their main man again, and a brand new contract could give him an additional boost. Sources close to Thomas Partey share whether he will be able to play versus Leeds. Sources close to Arsenal star Thomas Partey have shared whether he will be fit to face Leeds United on Saturday. The Ghanaian international flew home from international duty early as he wasn't deemed fit enough to play. A report from Goal has now shared more details about the midfielder's injury problems. Thomas Partey has been one of Arsenal's most important players this season. His defensive capabilities have allowed Granit Xhaka to play further forward and completely changed the balance of the team. Not only that, but he is chipped in three hugely important league goals, the most memorable being his wonder strike against Tottenham. However, throughout his Arsenal career, there have always been worries about his injury record. After Mohamed El-Neni suffered a season-ending injury, Mikel Arteta was forced to bring in another midfielder. It proved to be the right decision, as Jorginho has already stepped up in the 29-year-old's absence. Partey has now pulled out on international duty ahead of Arsenal's clash with Leeds. With 10 games to go, the last thing the Gunners need is the Ghanaian to be absent again. The report from Goal shares that Partey will fly straight back to Arsenal after not featuring in Ghana's match against Angola. The club are expecting him back at the training ground today, where they will assess the midfielder. He was accompanied by an Arsenal physio while on international duty, which suggests the club knew he had a fitness concern. However, the report states that sources close to the player insist it's not a hamstring issue and believe he should be fine for Saturday's game at Emirates Stadium. Having Partey available to play Leeds will be a huge boost for Arsenal. Partey is arguably a player of the season contender, and losing him would be a huge blow. Although Jorginho has impressed in his absence, Arteta won't want his starting lineup disrupted at this crucial point in the season. National media rave about Arsenal goalkeeper Matt Turner while on international duty. Arsenal goalkeeper Matt Turner has been praised by the American media after his latest performance for the USA. Matt Turner was once again in goal for the Stars and Stripes during their CONCACAF Nations League campaign. They squeezed past El Salvador with a 1-0 win last night, courtesy of a Ricardo Pepe goal. Turner has enjoyed a solid start to his Arsenal career after joining in the summer from New England Revolution. The 28-year-old was given his chance in the domestic cup competitions and the Europa League. Also, Mikel Arteta called on Aaron Ramsdale for their penalty defeat to Sporting. Turner was in goal for the first leg. Turner's performances for Arsenal cemented his spot as first choice for the USA at the World Cup. Although they only reached the last 16, the entire American backline came away from the tournament with a lot of credit. In fact, some American pundits claimed Turner needed to leave the Gunners after his performances in Qatar, as he was too good to sit on the bench. The summer may offer him the chance to move on, but Arteta won't want to lose a high-quality backup to Ramsdale. MLS Soccer gave Turner a 7.5 out of 10 and said, Turner was largely unbothered in the match, with El Salvador only logging 4 shots, but the Arsenal, by way of a New England Revolution keeper, came up big when he needed to, with a second-minute save to keep La Celeste off the board. Goal.com gave him a similar rating of 7 out of 10 and wrote, had to make a few stops in this one, unlike against Grenada. El Salvador probably deserved a goal, but Turner made sure not to give them one as he kept the clean sheet. Arsenal fans will hope they have seen the last of Turner now that he is returned from USA duty and the Premier League is about to restart. Aaron Ramsey hails unbelievable Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta. Arsenal hero Aaron Ramsey has had his say on Mikel Arteta and his side's performances in the Premier League since the start of the season. The Gunners have been brilliant this term. They have been on top of the table almost all campaign, and they are still there, 8 points clear of defending champions Manchester City. Ramsey, who left Arsenal almost 4 years ago, has been really impressed by his old club. If there is one person who deserves enormous credit for what he has done at Arsenal this season, it's Arteta. At the end of the last campaign, after the Gunners blew their chance to finish inside the top 4, there were calls from some fans to sack him. The media and pundits ripped into him, and nobody expected the North Londoners to fare much better this season, and they did last time out. Arteta, however, has proved them all wrong and has transformed this Arsenal side. They have been the best team in the country this season, and there is a good chance they will go all the way and lift the Premier League title. Ramsey has been watching Arsenal under the £160,000 a week Arteta, and he seems really impressed. The Welshman said about the Arsenal boss, as per the Evening Standard, the following: "You could see his leadership qualities, and the way that he handled it himself was second to none. What he is doing now, definitely, you could see he has always going to be a manager one day. The way he thought and saw the game and how intense he was as well. It's absolutely unbelievable what he has done there, what they are doing at the moment." Arsenal have been sensational in the Premier League this season. They have lost only 3 games all campaign, have scored just a goal less than Manchester City, and boast a better defensive record than the champions. The Gunners completely deserve to be where they are at the moment, and Arteta is the man responsible for that. Romeo Lavia, who Arsenal want to sign, actually has the same agent as Bukayo Saka, says a journalist. Speaking on the National World YouTube channel, Chris Wheatley has been discussing Arsenal's interest in Romeo Lavia. It was reported over the weekend that the Gunners are eyeing up a summer move for Lavia, and Wheatley is led to believe that this is one to watch. The journalist did actually share some interesting insight into this move, stating that Lavia has the same agent as Bukayo Saka and that Arsenal do indeed have a good relationship with both players' agent, as they have a close working relationship already. Whiteley shared what he knows about this story. He said, "He is definitely the kind of player Arsenal will be looking at this summer. One interesting fact about Lavia is that he shares the same agent as Bukayo Saka and Edin Ketia. That's quite a notable thing as well. Arsenal have a good relationship with the agents of Bukayo Saka, and they have done a lot of business there in recent years. This is definitely one to look out for in the summer. He is one of the players on the short list and one to watch out for this summer." Whether or not Arsenal do go out and sign Lavia this summer remains to be seen, but they could well have an edge in the race if they do want to pursue this deal. Indeed, now more than ever, an agent has a say in where his player will end up, and if Lavia's agent is close with Arsenal, he may well shepherd the £40 million player in the direction of the Gunners. Of course, there is a long way to go before we talk about the Belgian actually signing for the Gunners, but Arsenal do at least have an easy way to get involved in negotiations here. Arsenal transfer target Ivan Fresneda reveals he is learning English and is proud of Gunners' links. Arsenal may reportedly have been handed a boost as Real Valladolid youngster Ivan Fresneda has admitted he is learning English and that he is proud to have been linked with the Gunners. The highly rated Spanish defender was linked with Arsenal during the January transfer window, though a deal never materialized. It seems Arsenal remain interested in Fresneda, however, as Fabrizio Romano has exclusively revealed to Count Offside that they will continue to keep tabs on the 18-year-old right back ahead of the summer. Discussing his current situation in an interview with us, Fresneda attempted to play down talk of wanting to leave his current club, but he will surely have raised one or two eyebrows by admitting he is learning both English and German following links with both Arsenal and Borussia Dortmund. On interest from bigger clubs, Fresneda said, "It's a source of pride, but I always say it, I am also in a big team, Valladolid. My head only thinks about my team, and these days, also in the selection." On learning languages, he also said, "I have always valued studies for the future. Beyond football, I am a person who likes to learn languages." Arsenal fans will hope this is all pointing towards a summer move to the Emirates Stadium, as a new right back would surely be a useful addition, as there is not much backup behind Ben White in this current squad. Arsenal in pole position for potential €45 million forward transfer Rasmus Hojlund. Arsenal are reportedly in pole position to clinch the potential transfer of highly rated 20-year-old Atalanta striker Rasmus Hojlund. The Denmark international is establishing himself as a major prospect, and it seems likely that we are going to see more transfer rumors linking him with bigger clubs in the coming weeks and months. Arsenal have a strong forward line at the moment, but perhaps lack an out and out goal scorer like Hojlund, so it makes sense that they are now being strongly linked with the youngster by Calcio Mercato, who state that he could be available for 45 million euros. The Gunners signed Gabriel Jesus last summer and Leandro Trossard in January, but there could be room for someone like Hojlund to come in as an upgrade on backup striker Edin Nketiah. Nketiah is another young goal poacher, but he is not always looked entirely convincing in his Emirates Stadium career, so there could be room for another player to come in and fill that role with the view to eventually developing into more of a regular starter. Calcio Mercato also link Juventus with Hojlund, so it will be interesting to see if he favors staying in Italy or trying a new challenge in England. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.